Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I am a guy called Joe and this is Bootstrapping Tools. And in this video, we're doing a let's build. But before we build together, make sure to check out the YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos up there that talk about Google Sheets, Retool, Google Data Studio, as well as connecting all those to databases. We've also set it up in unique playlists so that you can easily find the information you're looking for. So make sure to check it out. But today, we're going to be talking about Retool. And this is actually a continuation of the last two videos where we were implementing or creating or integrating the Airtable application with Retool. So if you haven't checked out those videos before, this is part 3. So we've got 2 parts. Take a look in the description below and check those videos out before you dive into this one, because we actually built a couple of things already and we went through how to actually connect Airtable to Retool and make those API calls so that you can get the information from your Airtable base and plug it into your low-code Retool application. So quick review on what we already built. We set it up so that we integrated the Retool application with Airtable, and then on Airtable we're using the sample data that Retool gives us in the product catalog template. A lot of great information here that we're going to want to display into a nice beautiful UI, and we do that using the Airtable API, which when you take a look at the documentation, it is all made specific to the Airbase that you were working with. So in this case, you'll see that there's a furnitures table, a vendors table, a clients table, and all of that. And this is unique to the specific base that you're looking at. In this case, this is the product catalog base. So what we built is we got the vendor data, and then we made it so that when you click on one of the vendors, it runs the query and populates all the furniture pieces of the products that are related to that specific vendor. So if you click on one and then you click on the other, everything updates so that you only see the information of the products related to that vendor. We also made it so that you can search for specific furniture types. So the Samari bookshelf is the only one that we have selected. And then if you click on another vendor, it's going to clear out that search field so that you can get all the products and you don't just get left with a search field that wouldn't necessarily work with that vendor. Today, since we do have a lot of information that we do want to present, and it's not always the best thing to present it in like a search results type of list, we're going to create a different container and display the specific details for a particular product once we click on it. So very similar to how we click on a vendor, we're going to do the same thing for a product so that when you click on it, it's going to display information specific to it on the right hand side. So let's dive into it. We're going to click on the upper right edit app button. It's going to bring us over to the Retool Builder UI. And then within there, we made a couple of different API calls already, and we're going to keep those. We don't need to make a new one, but just a quick recap of that. There's the API for Airtable, that's the base, and then your base ID, which comes per base for you whenever you create a new base in Airtable. And then from there, we have /vendors and then a filter by formula where we're using the search formula, which is unique to Airtable as well. And then for furnitures, we did the same thing, but instead of /vendors, we did /furniture. And we actually have 2 search formulas in here because we're doing one for the vendor, the one that was selected, and then also one for the search field for furnitures. And we're using an and, we're wrapping that all in an and statement. So you see that there's an error because nothing is actually clicked. So if we do click on this vendor now, and then that runs, this is going to turn green. Boom. So that looks good. All right, so when we're looking at this, it's pretty simple. When you think about it, we're going to be basically doing the same thing that we did before for the click handler. So what we can actually do is let's go ahead and take that vendor click handler. Let's pop this open, and then we're going to duplicate that, and we can call this furniture. Oh, if I can spell furniture click handler, just to keep it nice and consistent. Vendor click handler and the furniture click handler. So let's move this up, keep it nice and neat. We're going to replace vendors here with furniture. Well, it's actually furnitures. And then same thing goes down here. And then that's basically it. Everything else was made in a kind of generalized way data is generalized, function rows generalized, all that is nice and easy. We can just use this now. So we'll save this, and nothing's actually going to return. If we hit preview, nothing is selected. Did I already do that? Oh, it got added to the event handler. What do you know? So let's delete that guy. This is already there. So let me just go ahead and explain this first. So what we did here is for image 2, oh, it got selected here. No, this is vendor click handler. That's why. Oh, whoops. I gotta add that the handler back. 1 second. So that was the furniture search clear value. We do want that to happen. So let's just make sure this works again. So we'll add in some random search term, and then when we click here, it should clear out. Perfect. Okay, so I wonder why this showed us information. It's because something is clicked. This should get triggered. This is furniture click handler. Maybe it's because it thought I clicked on something. Whatever the case. So we're going to go over to image 2, and then we're going to add in the event handler here. This event handler is going to be furniture click handler. All good. I'm going to save that. So now it's there. And then as we click, the information down here should change. So let's just double check on that. This is a cow rug. That's the one that we clicked. We click on here. It's going to be the Samari bookshelf. And that is working as expected. Perfect. Okay, so that's the furniture click handler. We're going to put this down a little bit so we can start making out the UI here. So let's go ahead and collapse the data part. We don't need that just yet. We got 2 containers already, so we're going to create a third one. So before we do that, let's go ahead and rename these containers. It's always nice to keep clean information that you have. So let's call this a vendor container. And then we'll call this next one furnitures with an S container. And then this new container, we can call it furniture detail container. That sounds good. Furniture detail container. So let's go ahead and expand this further out. So now that we have the container, we can start adding in information in here. So what we want to do here is, let's start off with the text. Let's keep it nice and simple. Put a text field in here, and then let's give this a value of the furniture click handler .data share. The first one, fields. And then remember, we have to do the I later, but not create a time. Fields dot name. Okay, so instead of data 0, we're going to do data I because it depends on what we're selecting. So let's make this bigger. And when we click on this image, we expect the text here to change into the data side table. Click on that. Perfect. So that's working nicely now. Let's go ahead and give this a header style. So what we'll do. So I think the markdown for this, how's the H1 look for that? Like big, too big, H2. Okay, that looks good. Let's just keep it like that. And let's give it a little bit extra room just in case it bleeds. You don't want it to bleed into the next row. So let's do this. This looks pretty good to me. And what else? What other information was there? Let's open up our editor in here and dive into the types of data that we have. So we have the name. The type is a table. We can probably use the type. So sure, why not? Let's make this a little smaller so we have enough room to work with. So table as a type, it's like a category really. Maybe what we want to do is, if we add the text here, can we do something styling wise for it? Maybe we can add a little background, make it blue. That looks pretty good. Maybe a lighter blue. Even lighter? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're gonna make this, I'm gonna say this is furniture click handler .data 0 .fields .type. And remember, with Airtable, you have to have the capitalization correct. So it's case sensitive. So if we do T, it's not gonna find anything. If we do capital T, it will, and that's the type. So now that's tables. Let's make the alignment in the center. Image width fill. Let's hug the contents of it. That's good. Made it smaller, what happens? Yeah, that's not bad. So the category, I don't think the category will get any larger than that. That's fine. If it does, we'll just adjust it. That's pretty good for now. So we have tables. It's a tables category. So we have the title, then the tables. What else is interesting here? We could bring up the image. So we have a thumbnail version over here, but maybe we want to have a larger image for it. Is there a larger version? So those are thumbnails. Maybe we can do the URL. So what we can do is, let's say image as a component. Let's shove it down here. Probably take up a little bit extra room. And then what we'll do here is furniture click data dot 0 dot fields dot images dot, yep, the first one, and then URL. And we'll make the data I again. So everything, I forgot the I here. Don't forget the I, otherwise when you click on the product is not going to change. So I think we can make this image probably a little bigger, right? Let's decrease this. Let's give ourselves, since we are using this entire space, let's give ourselves a little bit more flexibility here. Right, actually, yeah, I think that's good. So we can do that. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we click on it, let's click on this, and then the image changes. That's looking pretty good, in my opinion. What other information do we have? Let's raise this up. So keys, let's take a look at fields. Description, this is a lorem ipsum, so placeholder text, so not exactly that helpful. However, because you'll probably have text yourself, let's go ahead and just give you a text field so that you can use that in your own build. So we're going to use the text field container here, not container, component, and we're going to do the same thing. Click handler.data .0 .fields .description. Right, give it an I version of it. And so the image is actually kind of large. It's not the best place for it. Let's actually put the description down below over here. This might be a better home for it, so that way if it is super large, it's okay. It can just take up the whole space. And that way we have a little bit more real estate over here to provide more information. But the question is, what type of information do we want to provide in here? So we got some vendor information. So that's actually pretty interesting. What we can do is we can provide a little bit of information about the vendor itself. So the vendor should already be clicked. Preview this. What information about the vendor might be interesting? We got not that guy. Phone number, yeah, that's interesting. Closest showroom, that's interesting. We can show that. And then vendor nodes, so that's some discount information. That's also good. So great, perfect. Let's go ahead and do that then. So first thing, phone number. So that's going to be a text input field. And then we're going to, not a text input field. That's just a regular text field. My bad. Text field. And then let's make this vendor click handler dot data dot 0 dot fields dot, there's phone number. Okay, and then change that data to I. Let's go ahead and copy and paste that. I feel like Retool's having a little bit of trouble copying and pasting this, taking a little bit of time. It's gonna refresh. That's fine. So we'll refresh it. What I found a lot is that if a tool that you're working with online seems to time out or freeze or anything like that, just go ahead and refresh, no problem. Things happen, it's fine. So let's go back to where we were before. So we have the text field. So let's not copy paste. Let's drag and drop a text field over here. What we can do is let's instead of having to type this out every single time, let's just copy and paste that. And then what we say we want it, not the phone number, but the notes were good. Close to showroom, that's what we wanted. Okay, so we'll have this. Let's actually make this a little larger. It is an address. Okay, so we have that, and then we want the notes. So take this, drag a text field over. And then instead of phone number, I'm gonna say dot notes. Okay, great. It's looking good. Make sure to make it data I. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Okay, awesome. So we have that. That's the vendor information. Is there any other vendor information that maybe we would benefit from having? Sales contact, phone number, closest showroom, catalog link, the logo, furniture, notes. No, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna close that up. What else could we want here? The furniture information. Maybe there's something there we can use, like the settings. Settings could possibly be pretty helpful depending on who you are. So the settings could be multiple, could be 2, could be 3. There's a variable amount of settings that could be available. So what we'll do here, this one has 3. This is a good one. Let's do another list value. So we're gonna have a list view here. Gonna put the list view, and then it's gonna mess up all of our arrangements here, which is totally fine. We can just move things around. Not the end of the world. So I have a list thing here, and then this guy, go back up here. Come on, description. So, and then this list view doesn't need to be this tall. We can actually, there's an option here. Is there an option here? Oh no, for the container there's an option for hug contents, which let's turn that on, hug contents, and what that will do is as I move this, it's going to reshift the container to just be the same height. So use that, that's always helpful. All right, so in the list view, we want to do something similar to what we did with rugs. So we'll just add in a text field into here. And that's kind of small right now, but we can make this full width. And then what we're going to do is in the list itself, the row keys are going to be the click handler data fields settings. And then instead of data, it's going to be I. And the height of each row should be dynamic. And then the number of rows is dependent on the number of settings that is available. So we're going to do settings.length. Okay, so that should be 3. Perfect. All right, now with this text field, we're going to say that we want each setting. So we're going to go ahead and say furniture click handler data fields settings, and then we're going to do I. So I think we should be able to do I in both places. Maybe not. So data furniture click handler I settings. Just give me like that. How did we do this? Could be Y. I wonder. So we have 2 nested here. If I give this Y, what would that do? That would break it. Okay, so we have two eyes here. So maybe what we need to do then is we should get a separate settings handler. And then that way we'll just have the settings. Let's do that. So we can call that a settings controller. So let's do a JavaScript query. I'm going to call this the settings controller. And then we're going to say data equals the furniture cook handler dot data. Fields. Yeah, so fields, I think that's going to work. And then we'll say fields dot settings. So that should actually be the same thing as it was up there. Return data. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, bedroom, office, living room. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to save that. And instead of doing all this crazy stuff over here, we're going to say this is settings controller. Data. And then this is going to be same thing. Settings.data, settings controller.data length. Oh, it's not data, sorry. Value, because it is a JS code. So it's not. So I wonder, can't do that. It's giving me an error over here. So let's just go ahead and revert back over to this, because it's going to be the same information anyway. So oh, actually, you know what we can do? Let's say we're gonna format as an array. Let's see if this works. Controller data. Return data. I just undefined. Hold up. Let's think about this. So it's always good to run into issues, because then we got to work through it together. So this is saved, right? Settings controller, furniture click handler, field set settings. So if we run this, query ran successfully. So it's not selected. It's not giving us anything. Why is the preview giving us something, but running it is not? Maybe what we, oh, okay. So after this query runs, let's do the settings controller. Make sure that this runs every single time. So now let's click on this. And this guy, settings, data, it's still giving us nothing. Why is it giving us nothing? Why is it giving us nothing? Maybe this is wrong. Here, let's go backwards. So we're going to do data that fields settings. Okay, so we get that. Okay, that runs. What happens when I click on that? So so it tends to update. So it looks like that works if we do the 0. So I guess we can't do I in here, which is fine. That's something that I'm learning as well, along with you. Let's do it live, right? Do it live. Number of rows. So dot data dot length. This is good. Looking good. It's got 3. Perfect. Okay. Things are looking good. Things are looking up now. Now we have this dot I. So that's bedroom. Cool. Make this. Fill it. Hug contents. Awesome. Okay. Now we can. Now we're talking. What color do we give this? Tan color? It's kind of a weird color to use. Let's give it the same blue. Yeah? Why not? All right, let's take a look at this. How's it look? So now we have that. This guy though, we don't want all this drop shadow and the border. We don't need to scroll. This doesn't need to be so large. Let's make that, and that should fit us 4. I don't think anything has more than 4, but if it does, that's fine. We'll deal with it then. Okay, so now we have the category, we have the name, we have an image, we have the closest showroom, then we have promo code or notes information, then we have a phone number to reach. So let's actually make this a little cleaner. Phone. Then we can give it a nice little boldness to it. Let's go ahead and copy. Put this in here. This is not the phone, but this is showroom. And then this is notes. Give a space. All right, what other information is there that we could add? Let's take a look. Furniture click handler, preview. Let's see, under fields, what we got? Description, materials, that might be interesting. Materials is interesting. The size, that's interesting. Okay, size, let's say this, materials, size, and color. Maybe also in stock. That's already just true, so maybe we can just put that. You can say if it's true, then it is in stock. Otherwise, it's not. So where can we put all that information? Let's put it under the description. Maybe let's. Would the colors benefit from being like this? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's Oop. Is there something we can do here? Dynamic heights. Oh, that looks good. Okay, yeah. Let's add a little text field down below, and we'll use that for in stock. So we can use a text field for in stock. We can use a text field for size. So we're gonna need 2 text boxes. All right, and then I'm gonna want to copy the list view that we made so that we can reuse it for colors. Let's see if Retool pastes that for us. Okay, good, it worked. So let's move this down below. Hold up, come on. Put it where I want you. Oh. Undo. I'm gonna put this whole thing underneath here. Come on. Come on. Sigh. I don't even know what just happened. This is the thing with drag and drop UIs. They're not perfect, but it's fine. Well, it's way better than having to code all this by myself. So I'll take it. This is still going to be faster. Frustrating at some points, yes, but hey, I'd still rather be doing it like this than coding everything from scratch. Because that is way more time consuming than just trying to deal with a little bit of confusion that occurs with the drag and drop UI like this. So we're going to take this list view, we're going to copy this. So now we're going to use one for materials, and then we're going to use the other for colors. The color one, unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to actually make each color unique. There might be a way. I got to do a little bit of research myself, but if there is, I'll create another video on that, because it'll likely have to do with doing dynamic styles for it. So for that, let's focus on just having it be this normal kind of light neutral blue, and adding in the other information, and then we'll call that a lot of work and productivity for this part of the series. So let's change this over here. We're going to say we're going to want size. So dot furniture click handler dot data dot 0 dot fields dot size. Okay, so that looks good. So that's size. Yeah, that looks good. I think this is showing a different one than the one that's actually clicked. Yeah, because it's data 0. So we take that. Am I clicking the right one? Let's see. So that says 1278. 1278. Okay, 1278. That looks good. Good data. And then let's replace this with a similar thing. And we said we wanted to use in stock. So we actually don't have a thing for in stock just yet, but let's say the normal in stock. Oh, of course. We need the 0 so that it can autocomplete for us. Stock, and then we'll change this back to the I. Okay, so for this, there's a couple of things we need to do. We need to do the same thing we did with settings controller. So we're going to duplicate this. Let's duplicate it twice, because we're going to have to do it 2 times. And then we're going to name one of them colors controller. And then we're going to name the other one materials controller. So within the colors controller, we do the same thing, but instead of settings, we're going to do colors. And we can preview that. It's colors, right? Or is it color? Might be color. Color. Okay, so preview that. Brown. Perfect. Save that. And then for materials, it's going to be materials with an S. Preview that. Light wood. Perfect. So we'll save that. Okay, so now that we have both of those, we're going to go back in here, and then instead of settings controller, we're going to do colors controller. That data, that length. Whoop. And then same thing goes for here. Colors controller dot data. Which right now it seems to be null because we need to have it select once we do that. So that's fine. This looks good though. Let's go over to the next one. Oh, gotta change this first. So it's going to be colors controller. And that's blank for now. This one, instead of settings controller, is going to be materials controller. We only need the data part once, so we can move the other one. And then into the list view, I'm going to change that to materials controller, and then same thing for the row keys. Going to change that to materials controller, and everything should be basically the same. So now we're going to go back to our furniture click handler, and then on success trigger, we're doing the settings controller, colors controller, and also the materials controller. So we're going to go ahead and save that, and let's test it out, see how it works. So let's scroll back up, click on the data side table. And so now all this loads up. White brown, looks like it does have a white brown. It's solid teak with light wood. It's good for the office, it's good for the bedroom. Got a great description here. It is in stock, and that's the size of it. So what we can do is let's make this a little bit cleaner. So we're gonna call this dimensions. And then for the in stock, I'm going to say true. So just say, actually, let's make this better. Bonus material, we're going to do this real quick. It's going to add a little bit of transformer here. So JavaScript transformer, what we're going to do is we're going to say The data that we're using is the furniture click handler dot data 0 dot fields dot in stock. Okay, so now then what we're going to do here is semicolon. We're going to say if data equals, so we need a double equal sign for that, true. Oh, let's do var results equals blank, so we'll just declare it. And then don't forget your semicolons. If data equals true, result equals in stock. All right, and else, if it's not true, then the results is equal to out of stock. All right, and then we're going to return results. Okay, so let's preview that in stock. Perfect. And then let's call this in stock handler. Actually, not handler. It's not a handle. It's not handling anything. It's a helper. Let's call it a helper. Okay, so now this text value is going to be equal to our in stock helper dot value. And you don't have to be all the way over to that side. We can bring you over to the, yeah, that's fine. Let's make you a little more noticeable. How's that? Not too much, a little lighter. Yep, let's make you smaller. And then we'll make the dimensions larger just in case it needs that space. And this will just hug you there. All right, so let's preview this. All right, so we're going to start off with the application, blank slate. Basically, we don't have anything showing. I'm going to click on one of the vendors, and then that's going to populate a bunch of data in here about the vendor, and then you're going to select the furniture piece, and it's going to display all information about that furniture, including all the colors that are available for it, the types of materials being used, whether it's in stock or out of stock, the settings that it's in, the category that it's in, as well as the title. So this is looking a little, there's a lot of information there, but it's working. It's working quite nicely, and then you can always add in additional options later on to do things. But we'll do that in another video. For here, I think this is a great place to leave off. We've done a lot today. We added a brand new container specifically just for product details or furniture details. We added in a lot of different components. We created a couple of different controllers here just to take the information out of the arrays within our data set so that we can control it a little better. And then we also made a really quick helper to make the text more human readable. In the next video, we'll go over cleaning up this a little bit so that when we go into it and load it up, that it doesn't just show all this stuff randomly by itself. So what we'll do is make use of this this dynamic rule or variable for hide when true, and we'll just turn that on and off depending on series of behavioral situations, like clicking on a vendor then would show up the furniture in the other container, and click on a furniture would show up the other stuff. But that's it. If you had any issues, please don't be shy. Drop a note in the comment section below. Always happy to help. That's what we're here for. So don't be shy. Of course, if you like the video, please hit the like button. Make sure that other people just like you, other bootstrappers who are trying to build applications and find this video and learn from it just like you are. So hit that like button, smash it. It's super easy. It's the easiest way to support a channel if you do like the content that we're putting out here. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is part 3 of a multi-part series on building a Retool application with Airtable as the underlying data set or database. So hit the subscribe button, get notified, hit that bell so you do get the updates and the notifications of when the next part gets released. And it's been a pleasure. If you have any trouble, comment section below, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm a guy called Joe. This is Bootstrapping Tools, and we're out.